Noise shouldn't bother you. If there is a little bit of noise while you are sitting, if there is a little bit of noise while you are sitting in nature, while you are surrounded with nature, the things that man has not touched, because man's energy, sadly and unfortunately, for the most part, if not all, for the most part, has become miserable, and that's the way we are living. We the beings are living on this planet. Noise around you shouldn't bother you at all. The whole purpose of meditation is to defocus from everywhere. Because if you notice, when you defocus from everywhere, when your focus is not into a particular direction, when your focus is not in a particular dimension, is not in a particular direction, what remains is the journal focus. Everything inclusive, nothing, everything inclusive, nothing exclusive. I hope you understand this reality. I hope you understand this truth. When you defocus from everywhere, what remains is the focus. But this focus is not, that's the focus we are trying to achieve. What remains is the present moment, because now you have defocused from everywhere. What remains is the truth of the moment, that you are inclusive in everything equally. That's the state we are trying to achieve in meditation. Now, my air conditioning, we have central air conditioning. Now, my air conditioning got turned on a few minutes ago, as you noticed. There is a little bit of noise. Before, it was total silence. You know what silence is? This is silence. Before, it was total silence, but all of a sudden, a central air conditioning got turned on. Everything is happening for a reason, even when you are breathing, is happening for a reason. Now, there is a little bit of noise. You may face or experience the same thing wherever you try to surround yourself with the nature, wherever you try to surround yourself with the trees and the grass, maybe in your back porch or front porch, whatever convenience. The point is to surround yourself in the nature. You see, also try to walk on the grass for some time. Try to walk on concrete or sand for some time, barefoot, and make sure the place is clean. The point is not to hurt yourself, the point is to achieve your well being. If you walk on a concrete ground, if you walk on sand, if you walk on grass for some time, your base chakra is holding. You have seven chakras. One is a little above on your body, and one is a little, you know, your base chakra, which is holding all the chakras, it would get stronger and stronger if you walk barefoot on the concrete ground. Because concrete ground is man made, I understand that. But it has all the elements of the nature, sands, particles, and all that. So it is rather close to the nature. And then grass is first hand, trees are first hand. Obviously, you're not going to walk on the trees, but you can surround yourself. The point is to barefoot for some time. This way, your base chakra would improve tremendously. You would see tremendous good results. You would feel more joyful from within. You would have more patience with people. You see, so for some time, do that, and also become very concerned with your well-being. And as you spend time in nature, surrounded by nature and stuff. The second wisdom I wanted to give you is, when a situation arises which is threatening our regular life, when a situation arises which is threatening, not threatening quiet, but it is deviating or bending. It is deviating or bending from our safe cocoon. You know what safe cocoon is? Safe cocoon is your 9 to 5 job, 5 days a week, a house, a home, a few family members, some relatives talking on the phone, scrolling memes, and you are doing it over and over and over, and that becomes your safe cocoon, your safety zone. But if you focus a little more, you realize the safety zone also is your bondage, is also a barrier. It's kind of stopping you to experience life fully. You see, am I saying there is am I saying there is something wrong with the safe cocoon? No, there is no wrong or right. Remember that. Nature does not understand what is wrong, what is right, what works for you become right, what does not work for you become wrong. It's very simple. As Rumi said, there is a field beyond the concepts of right and wrong. I will meet you there. Rumi's words are powerful. He was powerful. He was a mystic. He said there is a field beyond the concepts of right and wrong. I will meet you there. That's beyond the concepts of right and wrong. Right and wrong are concepts. These concepts are in you. These are the labels. When you look at any situation through the perspective of the words that you have learned, then it becomes agitation in you. Have you ever not noticed that? But if you do not attach the labels, if you do not attach the words, if you do not look at anything through the concepts that you have learned, it does not bother you. If you understand, for instance, the noise right now, before it was silent, super silent. You know what super silent is? This shh. Before it was super silent, and then air conditioning got turned on. And now, if I sit here and think air, this noise is annoying, these are all words basically. Something is happening in nature, in the reality of Brahman. And now you are resisting something because you have learned the words and the concepts. The concept is noise is annoying. I was trying to maintain silence. Noise is not annoying. Everything is happening for a reason, whether you understand the reason or you do not understand the reason. It would happen whether you know the words or you do not know the words. It would still happen, isn't it? It goes same to every action, basically. So understand something that right and wrong, the concepts of right and wrong, what is right, what is wrong, the traits, basically. This only bothers us when we use words and we verbalize it in our awareness. Then it bothers. When it happens, you cannot have the thought about it. But then the thought arrives. Now, what is thought? Thought is the combination of words, isn't it? That you are verbalizing within you, not through your pretty lips, your plump, pretty lips. Not through that, but you are verbalizing in your mind. You are rearranging the word and you are suffering because of some noise. But truth of the matter is there is no suffering. Suffering is what you are doing to yourself. In nature, in present moment, in sacred, there is no suffering. That's why you claim life is so difficult. Life is very easy. So point I'm trying to make, when a situation, the I think because of the noise, but still the band. Remember, I mentioned the band near the military and air force barracks. The band is playing. I love when the band plays. So what's happening is that when a situation arises that threatens your security zone, your bondage, you become agitated. Or even if it does not threaten, it is a little bent, 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 or deviate from what you planned, then you become very agitated, very restless. You want to resolve the situation as soon as possible. But remember something, one thing, nature does not work around what you think. it has to include everyone. So it's not going to change the situation. And number two, believe me or not, you planned all this situation before you took the birth. When the day you were born is called your birthday because you took the birth. And then before that point, what were you doing? You were basically planning your carnation. This carnation, the knots between the birth, the knots between the birth and the bodily demise. So what you were doing that time, you were planning this carnation um, in the spiritual real, if you want to call it that, in the spiritual real, if you want to call it that. And why were you planning all this? Because on the basis of your karma, which is attached to you, not to your body or mind. It has no physicality. So you were planning this based on your karma, which is attached to you, the essence, and you plan this so you can transcend the karma. You see, you can transcend the karma. So I am going to give you a very significant tool. So pay attention to the sound of my voice. What's happening here is when the situation arises, which is deviating or bending from our uh, routine, you see, this is our routine, and then we become very agitated. Do not become agitated. Do not jump into the conclusions. Do not do any of these things. You see, first and foremost thing is the acceptance of the situation. Accept the situation. Say, okay, I accept it. Not that, but it shouldn't be like this. You see, when you say it shouldn't be like this, it is basically the demon which is saying it. Penetrating guilt, it shouldn't be like this. Penetrating agitation in you. Isn't it what the reaction of the thought would be? So when you say that it shouldn't be like this, or I could have done this, or I could have done that, no, this, these are all excuse me, these are all the weapons of the demon, and it's trying to penetrate guilt in you, so you can suffer more and it can be happy. But we are not going to let that happen. You or in us, we the sage, excuse me, we the yogis and the meditators, we the yogis and the meditators. I just about call myself almost sage. Shh, I know sage. I cannot get there just yet. Anyway, so when the acceptance of the situation, not accept, what is acceptance of the situation? When you do not use these kind of thoughts, it shouldn't be like that, I could have done this, or I should have done this, that you take that out, accept the situation. Okay, when you accept the situation, then what arises within is the detachment from the situation profound. What arises within you is the detachment from the situation profoundly. When you detach yourself from the situation profoundly and you look into the situation as a as a spectator, then you can resolve any situation, any. Do not freak out. Detach yourself by accepting the situation fully, and then look at the whole scenario or the unpleasant experience according to you. That what can be done here now? When you say what can be done here, it means you are moving forward. But if you say it shouldn't be like that, or I should have done this, or I could have done this, it means it's holding you back still. But when you say I accept the situation and accept the situation so profoundly as you asked for the situation, as you prayed for this unpleasant situation. You see, accept the situation so profoundly that you ask for the situation and you prayed and you begged for the situation, no matter how unpleasant situation is, that would keep that would prompt you to move forward now. You see, because you have now accepted the situation profoundly. Thank you, AC. But now you have accepted the situation profoundly. You say, accept it in a way that you begged for it, you prayed for it, and you wished for it intensely. Now, when you do that, you accept it profoundly. Do not carry guilt, but it would not, when you accept the situation, it would prompt you now to do something about it, and then you resolve just about any situation in your life. In last few days specifically, it's getting a little intense, but I do not talk about my personal life. You see, you have noticed I never talk about my personal life, because my personal life is, for me, it is my karma. My personal life is for me, and it is my karma, and I have to transcend also the karma. You see what I'm saying? But I am also in the process of a situation like that. You see, most humans would call it a agitation and unpleasant situation. You see, it's not threatening, but it is something that most people do not expect, if you understand. So I also um, am facing it, but I am not saying it shouldn't be like that. I'm not. That's not good. I'm not saying I should have done this long time ago, or I should have done this weeks ago or days ago, as most of the human beings say. I am not. None of these thoughts are in my mind. Basically, the only thought which is in my mind is, what can I do in the given situation? That's the only thing. I have detached, I have accepted the situation as I prayed for it, and I accepted it profoundly. Now I am in the process to do something about it. That's what my goal is. I am in the process to do something about it. It's a situation, it's not gonna go anywhere soon or in short term, nor my mind frame is that I want to resolve the situation. You know what I mean? That's not my mind frame. It's my mind frame is to look at it and see what can be done. You see, I'm going through still, but it's not reflecting how I carry myself. You see, life is neither good nor bad. Life is life. It's very simple. And life is very simple. It's us humans, since we cannot take charge of since we cannot take charge of our body and, excuse me, since we cannot take charge of our mind, our body too, of course, but because body is controlled by everything that we know, if you understand, body is controlled by everything that we know. So body too, up to a certain level, but we cannot take charge of our memories. We cannot take charge of our imagination. Our imagination goes haywire, and we are not focused. And then that's why we think life is miserable, God forbid me, or life is very difficult. Life is very easy. Life is very simple. Only you gotta do is to learn to go accord with nature and life. Nature actually lays out the principles of life. Life is given birth by what you essentially are, awareness, or consciousness, or sense of self-awareness. You see. Now, did you get the tool I gave you? Do not freak out. Freak out would be the worst thing that you would do, you see, in unpleasant situation, which is deviating or bending um, from the routine life. Routine. You see, routine life wears us out after a while. We say there's got to be something more. You see, the same routine, the same security and safety zone wears us out. Have you not noticed that after a certain period of time, and we say, I'm totally bored with my life, you see? But when there is an opportunity of the different flavor, we freak out. So we are not settling in any situation. So we need to first see that what kind of mind frame we are living in. Do not freak out. Accept the situation profoundly. Observe the situation as a spectator and see what can be done. This was the wisdom. This was the second tool that I wanted to give you.